Insulin resistance is the buzzword everybody's using, but nobody understands. So I'm going to break it down for you on a 7th grade level so you can understand exactly what's going on in the body and, more importantly, how you overcome something like insulin resistance. Before we start talking about insulin resistance, we have to first understand blood sugar, or what is often called glucose. So let me break that down for you. When you eat a bowl of strawberries, like say in this picture, you are going to have 12 grams of total carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are what convert in the body into glucose or blood sugar. Strawberries, of those carbohydrates, 3 of them are fiber. That means 3 grams of carbohydrates will not turn into glucose in the body. So now we know a bowl of strawberries is going to have 9 net grams of carbohydrates that will convert into glucose in the blood, represented by the little white dots you see in the picture. Now, if we were to eat a bowl of heavily processed, quote, high fiber cereal, we see it has 47 grams of total carbohydrates and 7 grams of fiber. So now we know that 47 minus 7, we're going to end with 40 grams total that are going to convert into glucose in the blood, represented by the overwhelming amount of little white dots in the blood. Okay, so now that we have these little white dots representing the glucose in the blood, we're going to go and look at the blood highway. What we have to remember is that the blood is a delivery system. So this is why I put this picture of all the little cars driving through the blood. The little white cars are the ones that represent the glucose in your blood. The thing that we have to remember is we don't want things staying on the blood highway. We want them exiting off the highway and getting into the cell. At the end of the day, the glucose needs to go out of the blood and go into the cell so that the cell can get to work and start making ATP. That glucose in the bloodstream, again, think of it as the little white cars looking for a garage to park in. And each cell has a garage door that has to open in order for that glucose to get in. The garage door opener is what we call insulin. So what happens is the pancreas releases insulin, which travels through the bloodstream and binds to the receptors on the cell. When this signal works properly, the garage door opens, the little glucose car pulls in, the garage door closes, and the cell gets to work making ATP. When things work well, that's what we see happen. When we become what we call insulin resistant, that's when that garage door starts malfunctioning. So the signal gets sent, but that door doesn't open properly. Now, all those little white cars on the highway, they can't get into the cell. So the glucose stays stuck in the bloodstream. And when glucose stays stuck in the bloodstream, essentially circling the block with nowhere to park, because remember that there are little white cars, this leads to what I call road rage, but technical term is called glycation. And that's where the sugar is sticking to proteins and tissues, which accelerate the wear and tear on our body. And what happens is the pancreas sees the traffic backing up and assumes that the garage door just needs a stronger signal. So the pancreas releases more insulin. The problem is more insulin doesn't fix the problem. So the garage door still doesn't open. The cars stay on the road, essentially creating a metabolic traffic jam. And over time, that traffic jam triggers inflammation and stress throughout the body. So I hope that helped break it down a little bit for what we mean when we say insulin resistance. And of course, one of the easiest ways to start reversing that is to eat a diet that supports glucose control. And there are lots of ways to do that. It doesn't mean you can never eat carbohydrates. It means you have to not eat refined processed carbohydrates. And when you do eat the carbohydrates found in nature, there are ways to eat them that support our body. And if that is something that you would like to learn about, give me a link in the comments and I will make a video about how to eat healthy carbohydrates in a way that keeps blood sugar very controlled. And of course, if this helped you at all, like, follow, subscribe, and let's keep learning on how to keep our bodies healthy and whole, because at the end of the day, food truly is the best medicine.